Sandra, did I show you what my friend Guy got me?
No. The history of boy bands. And the number one is Boys to Men.
Oh,
with NSYNC on the back.
I wish I had this
That's such
poster.
a good photo.
I'm like not even, I would put this up in my office if I had this
I wish
poster.
I had that on a sweatshirt.
That's like a throwback. It's NSYNC wrapped in an American flag.
Is this like
It was probably right after 9/11.
That's a collector's item, Deanna.
look at Joey Fatone. Look at Chris.
gosh.
Chris is the one that put the beads in his hair, right?
Yeah.
Chris looks
He
so
has
young.
mildly, like Rasta vibes. I
And
feel
Lance Bass looks like he's 17 years.
He actually might be.
He probably is 17
Actually,
years old.
I'll send you this picture, and if you want to put it up on the
Yes, we'll put it in our story so people know what we're talking about.
this is like Happy New Year. We're all fresh-faced baby boy band members.
Yes.
Or is that gross? Because I feel like
I think that's the energy we need.
he is like so thin.
They called him Fat One because that's how you spell his
I
last
remember
name.
that.
That's so
This
messed
man.
up.
That guy is not fat.
Not at all.
Like,
He's Italian though, right?
I think
Like
so.
very
Fatone?
much so.
Fatone.
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 yeah.
I feel like NSYNC is so in.
It is. And we should say that we have a lovely guest joining us today, the one and only cousin Mary.
Yay! Hi,
Hey, Happy New
guys.
Year.
Happy New Year.
How's the new year treating you, 2023?
It's been good. I'm getting married this year, so I keep calling it my wife.
You're what?
Yeah.
I have a couple of friends getting married, and I texted all of them, and I was like, "Welcome to our wife year."
Oh
Hello,
my
everyone.
gosh.
Yes. It's helpful to have other friends getting married, I bet.
Oh yeah, we're not early either. You know, we're like probably
Yeah.
like our wedding will probably be the 20th wedding that we've been to in 2 years, so we have like
Oh
a good
my
idea of
gosh.
everything. Yeah.
You're at that age.
I'm in
for
a wedding
sure.
2 weeks after our wedding, so we're
Oh
like not even
my
going on a honeymoon
gosh.
this year. Yeah, we're waiting a full year.
I do feel like you went to more weddings than I've ever been to.
That doesn't surprise me. Not be It doesn't surprise me because Mary, it seems like you have so many friends.
I have a good circle, and everyone decided to like do it at the same time. So it's like after this year, I literally I have 2 friends left, and only that are getting 3 that could get married, and 2 are in relationships. So
Wow.
I at least have a little bit of a window before anyone else gets
Wow.
married. But yeah, it's been a journey. But I don't have one until May, so I'm taking my
Yeah.
time.
Are they all in the New York area?
This year, yes. This year, yeah, we got lucky this year that I think so. Yeah, but then last year we had our cousin James get married in Colorado.
Right.
And
Yep.
then a couple months before him, oh
Oh,
my God,
no.
I'm going off video.
Oh, Mary. Okay, so there's
Mary's
an exorcist in Mary's screen
Mary's Zoom screen
that like possesses her.
It literally looks like a horror movie.
It is a horror movie.
Jordan Peele wishes he could capture the image that I have going on.
This is, oh my gosh, this is the horror film.
Well, that is exciting. The year of the wife. I like that.
Not that my whole personality is going to be a wife, but
No,
the
but-
first
I mean,
year.
it's a
You know.
transition. It's
Yeah.
going from one stage to another in life.
Totally. It's a big deal. And
But it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like a big deal, but then
Yeah.
it's like you come home and you're like, what's changed?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back.
Do you know
for a
what I
little bit.
mean?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's how we felt after we got engaged, where we were like, it's nice to be fiancés, but it's like, you know, we already share expenses. We already
Yeah.
Yeah.
talk about like our
You
kids
live
and stuff.
together.
So yeah, so we have everything already joint together. So it was nice. It was exciting. It felt good to like celebrate our relationship, but literally nothing's changed. Like my sister says the same thing. She had her 1-year wedding anniversary and she was like, we lived together for 2 years. Like nothing's different. He just
Yeah.
like weirdly calls me his wife, which is just odd.
well, it's also a really great excuse to have like a fun party and celebrate your love and all
Get
of
dressed
that.
up and all that kind of stuff.
Get the whole thing. Yeah, I picked out my dress and it's more bridal than I thought it was going to be. So I'm leaning
Oh
into
my
the
God.
vibe.
Can you please send me a photo of it?
Yeah, I'll
would
send
love
you
to see
pictures.
it.
I think I sent Deanna pictures
Yeah,
already.
it's really
Yeah.
pretty.
It's
That's-
not like it's very bridal though. It's very surprising.
Incredible.
You know what? I feel like I hear that a lot when people get married. They like end up in a dress they didn't expect they were going to have. And that's awesome.
And-
You're like,
Another
it's our one
surprise.
time.
One
you know, like
time.
otherwise if I had it's not like a full ball gown, but if I had like this full dress on any other day, it would look so bizarre. So it's like your one time to do it.
Yeah, it's
true.
so, I mean, I'm not going to bash this, but like, you know, someone and then they come down the aisle looking like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And you're like, oh,
She
You know
did
what
it.
which shout out to I Need Six Eggs woman.
I need 6 eggs.
Have you heard about that on Who Weekly?
No.
A podcast I should say.
Mhm,
So they were
forever.
talking about, I think like Woman of the Year or something like that.
Mhm.
And Ginger, how well do you know Beauty and the Beast?
I mean, I saw it a lot, but I don't think I've seen it since I was like 9 years old.
but you know all the songs, right?
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yes.
This might be a buried memory for you because at first
Oh,
I didn't remember it. And then I
I
was
totally.
like, oh my God, 6 eggs woman.
So when Belle's going
like in
through,
the
she's like,
village?
I need 6 eggs. They were trying to make her Woman of the Year in Weekly, and I said yes. And they had all.
And they made up a whole backstory where Gaston had taken all the eggs in the village.
Yes,
so
but
no
like,
one else
don't
could
we
get the
need?
eggs.
Don't we need her? Like, we need that story. We need
They're like,
That is brilliant.
she has 12 children at home. Her husband is a deadbeat. She's
Yes.
bisexual. That's all the things
Yes.
they're saying about her.
and they had people that they wanted to
Trying to
play
get
her.
out.
Like
Yeah.
it was like, and you know who what I want, and I don't remember is I would want the witch from WandaVision, who was the other witch.
Oh, I never watched
I
that
want
show.
Catherine Hahn to play I Need 6 Eggs. And maybe they said that and it's just like buried in my
Yeah.
I need
But I think
6
Julia
eggs.
Fox, she was up for the role, but Julia Fox basically got Woman of the Year in 2023, which is like
She had a big year.
Oh wait.
I mean,
Yeah.
yes, I support those.
So we're recording on a Wednesday, and Julia Fox is on Watch What Happens Live.
Wait,
tonight.
what?
Yeah, with Whitney Rose from Salt Lake City.
To be a fly on the wall.
I know. I mean, I kind of want to watch it just because, like, what the hell is going to happen during?
I feel like she doesn't like. I just feel like Julia Fox is so not grounded in reality for me that her appearing on What Happens Live, I just feel like she might not know what the show is. I just can't imagine a world where she understands who Andy Cohen is. Like,
I mean, what is he going to ask her about? Like, what is going to happen?
I heard that they were trying to get her as a housewife on New York.
Oh, I heard that too. She doesn't have housewife energy.
She walks down the basically sidewalk in a deconstructed trash bag. How can
That's
we
true.
like
That's true.
I'm not trying to get upset, but I mean this is for her. This is the house
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
for her.
I just think
Her-
listening to her on TikTok, she's so private about her son and about her personal life in a
Yes,
way
and we
She wouldn't-
respect
that wouldn't
that.
work for the housewife. So I respect that too. And I feel like they want housewives, they want your whole life out there. And
But
I
there
feel
are
like
people who definitely mask it.
Or they have like husbands who won't do it. Like Sutton's husband is like, no, kids or no, or whatever.
But like I do think it would be very interesting watching like it would just be like blow my mind to see Jenna Lyons standing next to Julia Fox, like aesthetically. Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's just the polar opposite of like New York, but I don't even equate like Julia Fox with New York. And granted, I don't live there, but it's just so different.
yeah.
Yeah. That'll be interesting. I definitely think after tonight's show, there'll be a lot of stuff on social media about what was said. So we'll see what that is. But anyway, we are here to talk about episode
After all
8
that.
of season 3 of Family Karma. And we brought Cousin Mary on because she's been watching the show and has some really great takes that we need to get, because I think it's good to get fresh voices and ideas about this show, because maybe me and Deanna are getting a little stale.
I'm also the same age as Monica and
Oh,
Rishi.
Yeah.
So I
wow,
think-
very important.
So
Okay,
not to
hot
be like,
takes
oh, I
on
thought
that.
about it. It's like the bride
no.
stuff really does all
Yeah.
come around.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is we're the Golden Girls basically watching like Sex in the City, where it's like
Yeah.
we're getting someone in Sex in the City talking about Sex in the City,
Okay,
you know?
wait.
But I have to say one thing on the Monica and Rishi thing. So if you follow us on Instagram, you may have seen. I don't even know if you know this, Deanna, because I don't know if I told you. And I know you were off Instagram for a little hot second. So someone DM'd me and they saw Monica and Rishi out having dinner alone recently. They did not take a picture, but yeah, they were having dinner together like on their own, which is like it could be anything, right? Like it could just be a friend thing. I really hope it is, because I just don't think that this is
I mean,
the
it
right
could be like
relationship for
you
her.
gave me STDs. I'm not saying like
Yeah.
It could be. It
like
could be.
that's not it, but like it's like from like 0 to 10. Like we don't know, you know.
I feel like that seeing Monica's personality, I feel like she is such a peacekeeper with the friend
She
group
is.
and with everybody that if anything went down between her and Rishi, no matter what it was, she would try to make it like okay for him to still be in the group.
Yeah.
And I feel like them getting dinner one-on-one is more her, like would be more her. I mean, I hope more her like checking in and being like, oh, we still have a great relationship, even though we're broken up and that kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like I think what she always wanted out of her parents' divorce is maybe what she would go
Oh,
after
that's
in the
so
breakup.
That's a really good connection. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I don't know, like the person didn't say she saw them like kissing or holding hands or anything like that. So I mean, we've all like gone out for dinner with an ex or whatever.
Yeah, but how many of us have slept with the ex after? You know what I mean? That's the
hands
hard
are
thing.
up.
Some hands, we're not going to say whose. Some hands went up, you know? So, and that's fine. I feel like sometimes you need that last
Yeah.
sleeping with them to like get your aha moment and being like, this does not serve me anymore. Or like, I just needed to have the upper hand or whatever fulfills
Yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, they definitely like, they also hung out like a few months ago. I saw them both posting from the place, from Rishi's restaurant on their stories. They're following each other again, all this stuff. Unclear. I did a poll on Instagram to see if people thought they were together or not, and it was pretty split. Most people said no, but it was like 53% to like 47 or whatever, you know, like this is a case of like the real life stuff happening versus what was filmed on the show and like kind of the dissonance between that. So the other stuff is that I'm getting more and more stuff from people and questions about Sean and Pooja.
Right.
It looks like they did not spend the holidays together, which is like amazing.
Shit.
Yeah, like I think like there was a family photo that was posted from the
But
Patel
what goes
compound.
wrong in that period of, you know what I mean? When you're, the thing is, and this is, you know, if you're better off separate, I always support that. But
Yeah.
like when you have been together, they've been together for a while.
I don't know if it's been.
He was going out on a date with Monica.
That was filmed for the show.
Right. Okay. It's all
That's
coming
what
back to me.
That's what I need clarification on for a lot of them. And I was thinking about this during the episode with Monica and Rishi, because she talks about it like they've been together for like 7 years and I've been a part of this family. But I'm
No.
like, when were you flirting with Brian? Like, when was this
No.
like?
Okay.
So this is actually a thing. So, and it was kind of a little bit of like production putting on the Monica and Brian thing for the show. I think her and Rishi were like already sort of dating at that point in season 1.
Oh, interesting.
And
They started filming this show like it. I feel like they filmed it in like late 2018, early 2019, and it didn't air till 2020.
Right. Because they
It's
did a
something like that.
flashback of like 4 years ago, this
Yeah,
episode. And I was
so
like,
it's
what?
They've been together for a while, and like the Sean and Monica thing is probably from like 2018.
Mhm.
So I think he started dating Pooja shortly after that. So they were together for like 2 or 3 years before getting married, which is a significant amount of time. So, and they were living together. They have a dog together. Like, they presumably kind of know each other. So I feel like something, like some event happened, maybe that caused a like, oh, we can't do this anymore. I don't know. This is pure speculation, but like, it just seemed really sudden too, because Sean was posting photos and videos from their wedding in September, which was like not that long ago.
Was it their anniversary in September?
No, they got married in May.
Oh, they
Oh,
got married in
interesting.
May.
Maybe they just got the photos.
No, they'd had them. I remember seeing them and being like, this is weird that he's like reposting these like
4
might
months
have been
after the wedding.
A public apology for something. I don't know.
That's
I'm
what
always
I
sus
am
about
now.
Wait,
big
say that
display
again.
on
I don't
social media.
understand. I don't understand.
like maybe he did something and he was like, Pooja, let me show you how much I love you. I'm gonna
Oh,
put
like the
all of
Christian
these
Dior
things.
bag that
Yeah, kind of that
Rishi
deal.
got Monica. Okay.
Like maybe, yeah, they were probably, yeah, he probably was just doing it and didn't explicitly say like, oh, this is going to show her, but they probably got into a fight. And then he was like, oh, I'll post my appreciation because I think, and I've been guilty of that where like in previous relationships where I've
Mhm.
gone and posted stuff when I knew that I messed up to just be like, oh, look at us. We're so happy.
Yes. And
I
keep in
think,
mind,
like,
a lot
since
of people, I feel like we
so
need
many
to
people
keep
do
that
that.
in mind on social media when they're like, oh my gosh, they have these picture perfect lives.
Yeah.
What is it compensating? Because
Oh, absolutely.
social media impacts mental health just so much and how we feel about ourselves. And it's like,
Yep.
there's so much like emotional weight behind all those photos
Totally.
that we see.
So something is up. I mean, if you're not in the family photo where other significant others are in that photo, like they should be spending the holidays together if they just got married this year.
To say about, even being in the Patel house, the Patel compound.
With the statues.
You look in the background, there's a family photo with Dylan and Sean in it. They kind of blurred it out. But it just feels like, like how we talk about Big Kathy is on the show, but she's not on the show because.
And this is a Beverly Hills reference for those who do not know what we're talking about.
So Big Kathy is always there, right? Because we have all the sisters basically at one time or another have been on the show, and her dynamic, like the way the dynamic that is going on now was kind of, she was a part of that dynamic as the mother and creating it. Whenever I see Amrit and Vishal together, like for the fashion show, Sean has been there as what seems to be the third musketeer, but he's not there. And it's like, we even saw when Vishal pushed Dylan or whatever in last season, something like that. Like, it was like we were going into like the foundations of what this friendship group, like what happened throughout like the history of like their like social system. And the fact that we're getting so much into Amrit and Vishal being hurt that someone's even being hurt that like Anisha's not appearing at Vishal's wedding on time. The unspoken thing that is going on is like, why isn't Sean there? Why is their mom on the show and they are not on the show? And I just feel like it's this hole that is like their ghosts, if you will, are haunting kind of the everything.
Yeah, and it's interesting the way that their mom's on the show hosting in her house with like their stuff going on. And she's not really like driving any of the drama forward. So she's just there as like, and there's no reference to what happened. So she's just kind of there as like,
great point,
a friend and a host, but not, I don't know, at least I didn't feel like she's not directly involved in the conflict that's going on between the aunties right now and the auntie bunch. So it's just interesting that she would still opt to be on the show this publicly when like clearly her sons are going through something with, I think, the two main characters of the show.
Which ones would you think?
I think Vishal and Amrit are two of the main characters. Like, I think that their relationship now that, especially now that they're doing interviews together, then that's like an extra thing. I mean, it's an ensemble, obviously, but I think a lot of the season, because it was both their weddings, I think a lot of the season is about the two of them.
Do we
That's
think Sean
true.
is going to be at Amrit's wedding? No.
I think he did not go to. I don't think any of the Patels went to Amrit's wedding.
This is so
Did you notice how
wild.
they?
You know how they put the little marquee at the bottom of the thing to show who people are? So Kalpana auntie and Deepak uncle, who hosted the thing at their house, they were written as Chitra's friend, who's Anisha's mom. So that to me was interesting because I'm like, in the first season, they showed so clearly how Reshma auntie, Vishal's mom, and Kalpana auntie were like sisters who came up in America together, raised their children here, like did everything together. I feel like there is some tension between those two families that, like, I don't know. There has to
feel
be.
like, is it bleeding out?
Well, it's all connected, right? We're seeing how the kids' drama affects the auntie's drama and the auntie's drama affects the kids. Like, I posted on our stories the some of the Twitter stuff that was going on after this episode.
What happened? Again, I'm off of...
So Vishal was like, I think, sick of people railing against his mom. And he was like, Monica brought out the receipts, and Monica like posted some texts about the dance they were preparing for Vishal's wedding, like the uncles and aunties dance, the parents dance. And like, I don't think it showed that much. It basically just showed that like Dharma auntie and Raj uncle were invited to be a part of that dance. And it was like Reshma auntie was organizing it. And like, so she was being hospitable in that way. But it's different when it's over text.
Is it like this goes into the hospitable argument that was going on in this episode of like what is considered,
hospitable at a wedding?
I don't know. And maybe it's
You're
different.
the expert, Mary.
I know.
I just like, I don't know. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. And I think expecting someone to take time out of their child's day to specifically welcome you and making it this big of a deal is weird. Like I've left at big events, like, when I had a graduation party and I left feeling so anxious because I was like, oh, I definitely didn't get enough time with all the people that I wanted to. And because the event goes so fast that I can only imagine with your own wedding, you're like, did I talk to this person? Did I talk to this person? And there were like 400 people there or something.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just think like it was an oversight that maybe hurts your feelings, but to like drag the whole friendship because of it. And I think that there were underlying feelings about Reshma before that are coming up now because of how she acted at the wedding. I don't think this is just because of the wedding. Like, them saying she's cold is not because of the wedding. Like, they definitely feel that way.
Otherwise,
yeah. But I think,
well, it is a 4-day wedding.
Yeah, true. True.
And she did ignore Lopa auntie.
She did.
And their kids are dating.
Yeah,
so
no, she shouldn't have ignored Lopa, that's for sure.
So I think there's two things going on here. Like, one, it's not like, don't take it so personally if someone isn't saying hi to you. I wonder if there was a little bit more of an active snub though going on. And she did say, like,
Lopa
I was
auntie you're talking
annoyed.
about, right?
No. Reshma auntie said, she was like, I was annoyed that Dharma auntie like tried to fix things between me and Lopa. And so like there was a little bit of coldness there, but also it's like, do we need to make this such a huge thing? Like, and like, do you need to tell Navina auntie that she's like the devil for choosing sides, like choosing her friend? I'm like,
that was crazy. When Lopa came at her, and it goes into what you guys were saying in the pod last week, where it was like, yeah, she doesn't have a lot of grace in the way that she says things sometimes. So when she came at Lavina and she was like, you choose sides and you choose wrong, I was like, that is not nice.
Yeah, no, that was not nice.
Well, you know what she sounds like? She sounds like the Godfather, like in terms of Italian, like it's like the whole like loyalty thing. And it's like, you chose sides, you chose wrong. It's like, it's kind of like I want it on a t-shirt, and
I think there's more behind what she said. Like, people have loyalties to one another clearly within this. And like back to the kids. So then Bali chimed in on Twitter and was
What did
like,
Bali say?
she was talking about how thirsty the Auntie gathering looked.
Oh, wow.
Which was interesting because her mom was the
Right.
one who was poking the bear.
Well, she
was
said I
always
wasn't even there. But here's my opinion.
Yeah, but Lopa, I heard that like you were so hospitable. She was stirring the pot.
Oh, wow.
Mary, your screen is going off.
Wow. The Exorcist is back.
I need to
I just
like
wanna-
somehow capture that and put that so people can see what we're seeing because it's terrifying.
It's insane.
Incredible.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean, and then, Lavina Auntie, who's like literally the sweetest woman on earth, she handled it so well. She's like, I need to go outside. She calls to see if Reshma Auntie's coming. She's not. And then she says, I'm leaving. So, and then Reshma Auntie's basically like, she's pulling a Meredith Marks and she's disengaging.
She does not want to
be a part of any of this. It sounds like behind the scenes, like she's like all this drama is like still really affecting this group of women.
Well, I also read it now that we're putting some puzzle pieces loosely together to see if they fit. It's also at the Patel compound. And if we have a theory that there is so much tension between her and the Patels, why would you go to her house? Their house.
Yeah, there's something going on. I mean, Sean and Vishal are like not friends anymore. And it's like, how can the parents not get dragged into that? Like,
Yeah,
it's just,
and
really...
I'm wondering if like all the other aunties know that drama. And it's like,
they must.
We can't talk about that. So we're going to highlight and emphasize the other stuff we're allowed to talk about on television.
And you know what? It's going back to the premiere night and where everyone was.
to see where the friend group is right now.
My brain is farting
Brian
out.
and Anisha were together in New York because I think Brian has been a little bit kind of, taken out of the group with his mom starting all this drama. I think that's affected his friendships
with some of these other folks.
The friendship between Brian and Anisha makes a lot more sense now because she's a little bit away. She's not in a day-to-day. And I think like,
and their moms are buds.
Yeah. And his mom really went for it at the dinner.
Yeah.
Like even her
Very
like side
outspoken.
comments where she wasn't looking at Lavina and she was like, Lavina Auntie, and she was like, why would I say that to you? But not looking at her. And I was like, that's not nice. That's I hate to, it's a little bit mean girl energy to talk about someone at the table like they're not there.
I'll just say like, now we're getting Bravo. Now we are. That's like a Bravo move. Now we're really getting into the juice.
Yeah, the aunties are giving Bravo. They are giving Bravo.
More so than like the youngins.
Yeah, the
it's
youngins
like it's so hard because everyone's like in these relationships, and then we have like Brian who's single, and I'm like, I mean, I'm very interested in the like Rishi Monica stuff because it's like it's truly genuine and unfolding in real time.
Yeah.
And it's kind of rare that we see
that you get that.
And we also see in the Bravo universe where people hold on to things that are just like have been resolved, whereas this is just completely unresolved. And Monica is emphasizing that they need to continue the conversation about it.
Yeah. So the other groups for the premiere night was Monica, Bali, and Amrit and Nicholas were all together, and then Vishal and Richa were together at the Parvani household, and Lopa Auntie was there too. So I think Lopa Auntie and Reshma Auntie, I think they obviously aren't the best of friends, but I also think that they tolerate one another for the sake of their children.
Yeah, it's like family.
Yeah, like what are you going to do? So it's just interesting because it's like, it's kind of sad, honestly, that like these things are happening, but it's also like, this shit happens in Indian communities. Like, I cannot emphasize that enough. Like, the gossiping that goes on, especially amongst aunties, and how it sort of like infiltrates everything. It's like, I've seen it in my family. I've seen it like I know other people in the South Asian community have as well. And we're seeing it now here, you know?
And you
And
can't
it's
pretend
real.
it didn't happen if it's on camera. Like I think sometimes
Yeah.
when you have, you know, when you have a close circle of friends that have been friends for forever, and you're used to communicating in this way that if you take it out of context the way that they are going to do, it doesn't look that nice. And you put it on TV, you can no longer deny that you said those things. Whereas like when you're gossiping a little bit, like as a hobby almost, you can just kind of brush things off and like I was venting and whatever. But when you put it out there
I know,
and you see it and it's on camera, it seems so much harsher than it probably feels in casual conversation day to day.
Well, especially, yeah. I think it's like we've seen in all of our reality shows that we love is like reality shows break up relationships more so than they bring certain people together, like the Anisha and Brian's, but they truly, like, you see people that have been friends for generations and it breaks them up. It's like I'm thinking of like Kyle and Lisa Vanderpump. It's just like those two were like, before they ended their friendship, were thick as thieves and had known each other. And because like you realize going into a reality show, there's a certain power dynamic. And then the reality show can kind of like shift a power dynamic. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just thinking of like with Kyle and her sister. This is the Kyle and Kathy stuff for those that don't know of like Beverly Hills. When Kyle started that show, she was not as rich as Kathy Hilton. She was not as famous as the Hiltons. I think Mauricio was working for the Hiltons as a real estate broker. And then we see Kyle kind of getting, you know, she gets more famous, she gets wealthier, she gets more power. And then that comes to a head when Kathy's on the show. And from what we're supposed to understand is that when Kathy did her rant in Aspen, that a lot of it, like conversation came up about, well, Kyle's wasn't supposed to be richer and more famous than me and more powerful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like you get to see part of, because it is like, because and like, I don't know, Mary, if you get this, but Indra and I talk a lot about this, is like people are like, why do you watch Housewives? Why do you watch Bravo?
Yeah.
Why do you watch reality television? And it's like, it truly is this study of people under a microscope.
For sure.
With the aunties especially, it's just like, what happens when you're just like watching them and they have a relationship beforehand or they don't, and then like they're in this fishbowl, and not only are they in this fishbowl, but then they become famous on social media.
And then they can go back and watch what was actually said and pick it apart and like turn it into this and listen to all the like Twitter chatter and whatever. And
the
it's
Twitter
like,
chatter feeds your head.
Oh, absolutely. I think it really affects people.
Who the fans pick, I feel like can really, like who the fans attach to can really inflate an ego or deflate an ego. And I feel like the way that the whole cast, to go back to the Patel, the way the cast talked about the Patels in the beginning of the first season, where they were like, they're like, you know, they're the famous family here. They started everything. And then this show is not about really the Patels like at all. And they came on the show a little bit more, I think, in season 2. And I just don't think that people attach their personality as much as they did as the other characters. And maybe that dynamic switch for them the way that it did for the Hilton sisters.
Wait, say that they didn't attach their personality. How?
I don't think that people, at least, I mean, I watched it late, but I just feel like when watching the show, Vishal is more dynamic on camera than John.
And we didn't get to know the Patels. We didn't really get to know them. Yeah.
But are you saying they kind of started the show being like, this is the epicenter. The Patel compound is the epicenter. We all grew up here. We played basketball, blah, blah, blah. And then when we see that, well, on the show, it's not the epicenter. Is that what you're kind of saying?
I think maybe like that shift in dynamic is hard. And I think like, not that, you know, they've gotten super, super crazy rich and overexposed from this, but I think it has shifted where the show is a kind of cachet and people are, you know, going to want to be on it. And I think when the season 2 aired, the Patel kids were kind of not really the stars that came out of season 2 and got the glow up for season 3 and got all this attention. And maybe that shifted the way the dynamic has always been.
It's social capital, right? Like, and
go on about that.
Well, it's just like, you know, it's like status amongst just in a social sense. It's not financial or anything like that. And it's also like Vishal and Amrit's weddings are on the show. Sean's is not. You know, like they took him off of the show because he wasn't adding enough. Like his personality was just not, and that's fine. Like I don't think I'd be great on a reality show. Like
no, yes,
be
and
terrible.
we definitely want to say like I could say I'd buckle under, you know what Arden always says on the Rose podcast. I would be the one where they'd be like, put your face in shit and then walk around and think it's funny. You know, like I feel like the producers could talk me into doing something like smear some shit on your face and like that would be so funny. And I'd be like, yes, you know, game.
But now I'm like, I need Sean back on the show. What is happening?
We need to know.
But why do you need Sean back? Why?
Because there's so much
I want to know what is
happening.
I want to know.
It truly is.
And so I've got so many DMs from people. Seriously,
what?
They're like, you must know what's going on. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. It's really wild. So, okay, let's talk about other aspects of the episode. So Bali,
right,
get more of her
story, like moving in with her parents, and like how she's like planning an estate sale. Is so funny how she calls it an estate
Estates
sale.
are when you're dead.
Yeah, and she's just like,
so funny.
I love also how I think they show that she made like $21.
I know, and she bought fancy pastries.
The pastries were like 45 at least.
And I do want to say, I hope like I do want to give Bali like 5 gold stars because the easiest thing in the world, I think, would be to come out from like the earthquake that is the shambles of the earthquake that is getting your house taken away by your ex and jumping into like your boyfriend's house and like to let the dust settle and like move in with parents that you love and trust, I think is just really like powerful and letting herself kind of grow where she is rather than all of a sudden moving to a new town and becoming the girlfriend of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She knew that she could look ahead enough to be like, I need my community around me right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like O'Malley is a
part of that. But if I go there, then as you said, I just become the girlfriend of someone who already lives here.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
I loved the picture of young Bali and young O'Malley. I feel like we never get to see them like that younger picture of them was so cute. And I was like, wait, is O'Malley hot? Like what's going on? Like,
he looks like someone who could live in New York. He looks like such a New Yorker to me, but maybe it's because he's O'Malley, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like definitely a pro river Irish guy.
Yes.
Amrit was like, can I buy O'Malley from this sale? So, you know, I mean, someday we'll meet him and Bali and everyone, I hope. But yeah, I mean, I loved the whole vibe of the sale. She's like, I just wanted people to come and drink champagne with me.
I loved it. It was just like, look through my stuff if you want, but I'm more just like, come hang out in my driveway and like.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I want Bali to be like, it's such a missed opportunity. She was on Watch What Happens Live. If she had been sitting in one of those chairs, we could find out like, what's going on? Are you still at your parents' house? Like, where are you? What's going on? And we just didn't get like any of that. So
I love their relationship so much. Like when he just like comes and stays in her parents' house because he knows that that's where like she needs to be comfortable. And they've just been, I just feel like they really are so good together. Like there's no weird tension. There's no like overdoing it for the camera. They just like, I just love them together. They're so cute.
I do want to say, like, as someone who doesn't have the strongest relationship with their parents, I think the thing that family, but I do, you know, of course, with like, you know, other members, Mary's my family, with other members of my family, I have a close relationship, like your mom and dad. But like, it does fulfill for someone who doesn't have close familial ties, immediate ties, this wish fulfillment. You know what I mean? Of like, like I couldn't imagine for me seeing, I mean, you know, my mom and I's relationship is very much different than Brian and his mom. But like, you know, you're seeing these people hang out with their moms, and for someone that's hasn't had that in their adult life and do these things and make these life choices and bring the parents along. Like I said, it's just very wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
And it warms my heart. And I wonder if other people, and I wonder if The Exorcist is back.
Mary Queen.
Maybe this is like my ancestors being like, your Bianco, do not talk about private stuff because Italians don't talk about this stuff.
I'm just trying to give you like my love and, a supporting nod. And then The Exorcist comes out.
It might be our ancestors, our Italian ancestors.
I'm going to put it back on just so I can film it next time it happens. Because I think we need to show people how weird it looks.
Yeah, it's really wild.
But it's what I'm saying makes sense because it's
100%.
Some people that watch the show, it's like you have your found family as your friends or whatever. But like, it's just so beautiful because it's like, for me, I couldn't imagine moving back in with my parents or even spending a night, with either parent, but like watching like Bali move in with her parents and being like, this is the best decision where I'm at and at my age is like, just reassuring that love and hope and like all these things and unconditional love exists.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I don't have unconditional love. My parents don't for me, but it's just like, you're seeing someone in this stage of life just like being taken care of, and you never see that.
See, like when she said, I just feel zen here. Like,
she's like incredible.
And O'Malley's like, I love what you've done with the room. Like, it still feels like you're here. I was just like, guys, this is so nice. Like, you do feel like it's also nice because it's also nice to see that she specifically is being taken care of, because I think she has, she has Anushka and she's put so much of this shit with her ex behind her to preserve that relationship so that she can have a dad, so that she can have everything. That it's just really nice to see her being taken care of and being like protected in this space where she can figure her shit out. And also that it's never too late to figure your shit out. Like it's okay wherever you're at, no matter what age you're at, it's okay. And just like pick the relationships that work for you and pick the people that work for you, and you can always pick up the pieces. And I think that that's so cool.
Yes. Yeah. I think that's so powerful because as women, we're not used to being taken care of. Especially
being the one to take care of everyone.
And we're like these octopuses that have like each tentacle in all directions. And we're just so used to operating like that to watch her, like you said, being like, this is my time for someone to take care of me is like the most powerful thing that we could hear in 2023 as women.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that she has been wanting to like have her story told more on the season and has been kind of disappointed that it hasn't been more showcased. So I'm really glad that they like took time to kind of get into that more and show it, because it's an important, like, it's something she can really offer to the wider audience as like a life lesson, which is another reason why we watch these shows, honestly.
Yeah. And I think it's like you said, it's like, it's never too late for XYZ.
Yeah.
And coming into the new year, it's like, let's use that. And it's like, what do we want to do with our lives and accomplish, because it is never, the New York Times had a really, really great section or just an article about people doing something later in life. And it's someone who learned how to swim at the age of 68, someone who like did all these, published a book in their 50s or whatever. And we need to tell ourselves like, it's okay to not start over, but just like kind of just start anew and just like try something out, because I feel like sometimes we get so rigid in our ways and we say, oh, I'm too old, or, oh, I'm too this. And it's like, it's always okay to try something new.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
That's like definitely something that I need to remind myself of every few years,
100%.
When I was seeing like, and not to go back to O'Malley because I have a newfound crush on him, I guess.
Hashtag always go back to O'Malley. He listens to
O'Malley
this.
does not miss an episode of Family
I heard that. I'm just remembering that now. Oh my God.
No, don't turn red. Don't turn red. She's turning red.
We love you, O'Malley.
I know. So keep going. Yes.
Have you guys heard that the SNL skit? It was when Keke Palmer was on with SZA and they did the song for Winter, How Everyone Needs a Big Boy.
No.
Oh my God. You guys
What
have
is
to look it
this?
up.
Yes.
It's like the lyrics, like it's cuffing season. All the girls be needing. They need a big boy to like keep them warm. Like get rid of the skinny guys. You need like a big boy.
Yes.
And so as soon as that comes on, I'm like, O'Malley is the big boy of Bravo. Like, and
Oh
I
my
mean that
gosh.
in like
Remember
the
first
best sense.
photo we saw of him was him like deadlifting like
Yeah.
300
I
pounds.
remember that. Oh, he's
He's like
definitely the
the
big
heavyweight
spoon.
He's
He's the big
boy.
spoon. He's the big spoon in the cuddle. You know how there's
Oh,
those
yeah.
big spoon? He's big spoon.
He's big spoon.
Totally.
And he just like can just pick her up and toss her around and that's it.
Yeah, and sometimes
Yeah.
we need to be tossed
Of
around.
course. You need
Yeah.
a big boy. It's cuffing season.
Especially like I've always fallen for these like heroin looking like
Mhm.
like spidery guys that look like okay, like I'm always heavier than
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not huge, but like it's now hitting me like it is cuffing season and we need big spoon over here.
Can
Yeah.
confirm the Williamsburg heroin-y vibe
Oh,
of Deanna's
love.
earlier
Oh
boyfriend.
my god. So you're
funny.
I can fit my like hand around your calf. Oh, you're here.
Come on over.
Oh, your hip bone is like jabbing into mine.
Yeah, you're like, oh my
my
god.
God.
I'm like my pheromones are like
Yeah.
like and now it's like we know too much.
Now we know too
Yeah.
much.
Yes. And
Yeah.
yes. Okay, so sorry. Side note.
So one other thing that happens at the
Estate sale.
Are you gonna say it? Are you gonna say it? I don't what are you gonna say? Because I'm
the
dying to talk
Anisha and Monica thing, but what were you gonna? Oh, the snake that looked like a hose.
a little bit. Oh, that's my vibe. That's my
Oh,
energy.
you're-
my vibe too.
That's my-
I was like, Bali, I've never felt more close to you. than
It's
in
Oh my-
Florida. It's Florida. You never know. Because my
How many?
parents.
When was the
my
last
parents
time
live
you
in
saw a
Florida.
snake there? Yeah, when was the
Literally
time you
last
saw-
week.
Oh,
Oh
my
my
gosh, what
God.
happened?
Yeah, I was there last week. We were just out for a walk. We had my brother's like little Havanese for Christmas, and a little snake came by, and she went after it like she could attack it.
Oh.
It's like the dog's name is Sally Chicken. She's literally this big. She
Oh,
has like
Sally
no way.
Chicken.
little
Yeah.
baby.
She's the best, but it really does catch you off guard. Like, so
It
I
does.
definitely, and then for the rest of the day, you're like seeing snakes in the, it's like when I had the mouse in my apartment, like
Yes.
seeing, I mean, the rats also at Nicholas and
The
Elmer's, but-
rat.
That's
The
what
rat.
okay. I have something to say about that, and we'll put a pin on that. I have something to say about that. But yes, in Colorado, there's so many snakes.
So many snakes.
Well,
So many
not-
snakes.
They're on the trails,
Like once a week on the trails.
on the trails.
And the
But
Mary, but
that's
you're
different than if it's in your house. Like if it's near your house, I don't know. Like I could not. Snakes are my number one fear. In
They'll be
life.
like in your garage. Like if you don't close,
oh my
Yeah.
what?
like my
Yeah.
parents' neighborhood is a kind of situation where if they leave their garage open, they don't think they're going to get robbed. They're like worried that a snake or like
Oh my
a wild
gosh.
boar is going to get into their garage. It's
That's
insane.
like-
a
that's
wild
like-
boar.
Mary
Mhm.
in Arizona, that's what my dad says. He'll send me a picture and it'll be a rattler on his
Yeah.
like his driveway, and I'm like, no, thank you.
No thanks.
No.
No thanks.
No.
I'm that's my number one. If you want to scare me big time, put me like in a room with a snake, and
oh my god, no! I would actually die from fear. I think.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Like I need that's my one thing I need exposure therapy to is a snake, because it is my worst. Like I get like the heebie-jeebies and I have to leave the room. Like
I have
remember
recurring dreams of them invading, like swarms of snakes invading my home.
I've
I've had
Oh
them
my
since I was a
Oh
child.
my God. I saw a TikTok and this girl had a pet snake.
oh no.
It had died. And so she was like mourning it.
Oh,
And
What?
someone ended up stitching it to be like, what goes through your mind that you set up a camera to record yourself crying? But I can't get
Yes.
the image of her holding a dead snake out of my brain.
Oh.
I literally saw this video
What?
2 years ago, and it's just
Well, of
fucking
course.
seared in there.
Yes, it has to be. It has to be.
I
Oh
have
my
a full
god.
body chill thinking about it. I'm sorry. I
Oh
brought it
my
up.
God.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
No, that is like, see, this is why we have Cousin Mary on, because like TikTok is a world
It's
where
a
it's
world.
like
No, I
you
am
know
not
what's going
on.
like that is a vibe on TikTok, and there are
Yeah.
all these vibes like that can be brought into conversation that
yeah.
yeah.
I wouldn't
I-
even know about. Why?
I usually
what kind
get
of
the
snake
people,
was
like-
it?
It was
Was it
it was
thick?
like, yeah. Oh.
Oh
Okay. Let's moving on. I can't. I'm gonna like have nightmares.
Oh, this is
So, what were you gonna say though, Deanna?
I forgot if Monica brought her Dior bag there, but I don't think she did,
Oh,
right?
the bag.
She brought a
bag.
Louis bag.
Okay, I need everyone's what conversations were there on Instagram about the bag?
Well, okay, Mary looked up the bag.
Wait, really? What kind of
I
bag
looked up
was
the
that?
price of the bag. It's a mini.
$5,600, I think.
How much?
Yeah.
Somewhere in the 5,000s.
It's cute.
56.
Listen, I'm an
It's
act.
cute.
What is the act?
It's
the
not
love
very
language?
practical. What can you put in that thing? Like a phone?
A phone.
Not this phone. This is massive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You know what you can
5,600.
shove in there, and this is a joke. All your problems that you have with your relationship,
Just
just
stuff it in.
stuff it into
He
your
needed
bag.
to give her the Louis Vuitton carry-all instead of that. Yeah, because this looks like I
can't
see it.
even-
It's not clear. This
Oh, I
looks
see,
like
I
the
see.
right
It's
size, right?
That's adorable.
Yeah. It was a mini, which is still $5,500. $5,300.
Yeah,
Like that is a lot.
Can I say
a lot
something?
of money.
It's suspicious.
Whether Rishi cheated or not, he's living a little bit in a dream world. I hate to say it.
Okay, say more.
I feel bad because I really like him, and
Oh
actually,
yes,
I
do too.
I'm very attracted to him
he's unfortunately
because he has this swagger. Like, you know how you and
unfortunately
I,
he's so hot. Like
yeah, like he has this like it's like that Mac Miller. Indra and I have talked extensively about the Mac Miller
Yes.
swagger of like you kind of look stoned.
Mhm.
Like you're not like I don't think he smokes.
No, I
It's
know
none of our
exactly
business.
what
It's
you're
like
talking about.
you're kind of out of it and you're waiting for someone to approach you because you're like very confident, which is like
yeah.
it's a complete opposite because I'm like a crazy person. I like approach people and I'm at a 10, but like it's just like, yo, what up? You know what I mean?
I think that's why it was such a tell that something is going on.
Oh,
because
so
he
Mary, go
panicked.
on.
So I mean,
What?
to
How did he
talk about
panic?
the whole
How did he panic?
a couple episodes ago, like the way that he was talking to her, his eyes were like darting back and forth. He like was trying to piece together the timeline in his head. I'm not saying I think he cheated. I also always say like this happens a lot with my fiance's friends where it's like they'll be a good guy, but they're a bad boyfriend. And
Go
I
on.
think
We need these
I
hot
think-
takes. We need these
I
hot
think
takes.
Rishi is a good guy, maybe.
Yeah.
I think he's not ready for the kind of relationship that Monica wants at this point in her life.
No.
And if you have to beg somebody to propose to you and they still wait a year from when they said they would do it, then they don't want to marry you. And they want you around.
What
Because
were you
That was
thinking?
sketch at the barbecue when he
Yes,
was like,
I want to discuss this. I want to
He
discuss
was gaslighting her. He was
You
like,
100%.
You said,
He
you
was
said it was by
gaslighting.
31, right?
Oh,
And
that's
she
so
was
messed
she goes,
up.
No, it
No.
was 30.
But
Well,
she's
but she
even
only
said
said
on
something because
camera.
Anisha like pointed at her and was like,
I know.
I loved Anisha in that
know.
moment. I was like, good.
Okay,
that's a
so
good
Mary,
thing to do.
when you initially heard the hot take of that he had cheated on her in the episode a couple episodes ago, or maybe last episode, what did you think? Being someone of this similar age, we're going to go into this.
I think he's panicking. So I don't think, and I texted you guys this before, I don't think that he necessarily cheated, but I think he has an inappropriate flirtation and friendship with another person.
One
Yeah.
or more than one.
Maybe more than one. And I think
Okay.
he's not ready to let that part go. But Monica's a great woman and somebody that everybody would want to marry.
Yeah.
And especially if you come from this community and she's like, you know, she's like the great girl to bring to your family. She gives a shit about, you know, your parents. She truly cares about your family. She cares about catering to everybody.
She respects
And
your
so-
culture. She wants
her
to,
culture, and
she
she wants
lives
to, like-
the culture like
she lives the
through and
culture.
through.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so I think like he feels like, well, I have Monica. Of course I should want to marry her, but he doesn't want to. And like,
No.
if he
Yeah.
wanted to, he would have proposed to her already. And I think like, you know, before Ethan and I got engaged, we had a conversation where similar to her, I was like, this is the first time in my life where I don't know where something big is happening to me. And it's kind of sending me spiraling where like, I need a little hint that this is coming.
Wow.
And for me, it was like, you know, a couple months from that time, but I never felt like I was begging him to marry me.
yeah.
I think Monica is begging him to marry her, and he's putting it off as long as he can, hoping he'll be ready, and he's just not ready.
So what? How have you seen this play out? Is it always playing out in one way from what you've seen with people your age, or
with people my age?
Does it play out in a couple different ways?
Yeah, I had a friend basically beg her fiance to propose to her, and they ended up getting married, but the whole wedding process was like dragging their feet and constantly like him not wanting to be a part of it. And I think now that they're married, it's a little better, but like it just felt like, why are you begging him to do this with you if he doesn't want the same thing as you? And if you're with Monica, you know what she wants, and you know when she wanted it by. And I think that she also can use this as an example, I feel like I'm ranting now, but she can use this as an opportunity to not make her life's sole purpose to be the perfect Indian wife. And I think that she mentioned that a little bit in the episode today, where she was like, I've done everything right. Like I have a 9-to-5. I have the respect to my parents. What am I doing this for? It's like, babes, you got to do it for you. Babes. You can't do it because it's going to be like, you're this perfect wife on paper, because then you're never going to speak up about what you really want. And you're never going to hold him accountable in the way that you need to feel better.
I know. And I'm so glad you brought up that like Anisha was the one that pushed Rishi on the issue at that barbecue. Monica was like avoiding the topic.
She was going to let it go. Yeah.
She looked when it wasn't like, oh, I don't want to talk about this now. It was like, I'm just not going to go there type vibe. And I don't know, I see a little bit of a transformation in her confessionals, because she's recorded those after presumably has gone down between them. So there's a lot more that remains to be seen. But then there's also that that confessional of Rishi being like, well, in Sindhi culture, you're supposed to adorn your woman with like the things. And he's like, but I'm not doing that, blah, blah, blah. I was like, the producers are doing Rishi so dirty. Like,
yeah, but not even saying much though. Like, it's not like he's really like, they just kind of linger on him while his face is like scrambling a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm going to really watch for that face scramble, because I think that is a very like, and I think what you're saying, just to piggyback what you're saying, Mary, is like, then say like, then you have kids, because that's the next, you're checking off the check. Like we got married, we got engaged, and now we got to get married, and then you have kids. And then there's this like, not like the maturity of the relationship and the development kind of gets stunted, like we've seen, because you're not like talking about it and working through it. And then the more garbage is just piling up, and it's never going to be resolved. Yeah. And then that's a whole other thing. And then you're an empty nester at the age of whatever. And you're like, oh, what? Like who am I? Who are we? Who am I? Who are you? Who's us? And it just can keep going and going and going.
Yeah. I think we'll see what happens, but
Indra, has your opinion changed of the situation as the episodes have rolled on?
I mean, I think they're not right for each other. I agree. Like Rishi is not. If he wanted to marry her, he would have proposed to her.
Yeah.
Like they've been together for enough time. It doesn't need to be drawn out like this. Like he's not ready, and Monica is. And like maybe it is just an issue of timing. Who knows? But like, this is Monica's life, Like she said, she's like, I need to know where my life is headed. Like, I need these things. And like, like Mary, what you said about your situation too, like in a situation where you did trust that you were going to get engaged and you did, like you still had those feelings, like it's a huge thing.
And if you get the sense that he's not even like, I think it goes back to the Mac Miller vibe with Risha that we were talking about.
Mac Miller is very so
like, he just like doesn't have to, he doesn't put in effort, I don't think, to a lot of things. And I think he's just thinking, oh, when I'm ready, I'll know. It'll happen when it happens. Yeah. And I want Monica to be chill about this. And it's like, she has all these other considerations. Like, men don't even think about the mind fuck it is to have eggs that you're told are dying as soon as you turn 25. They don't even think about like, oh, this really could mess with somebody's perception of time and make them feel behind or old or whatever. And it's like, if she's explained that to him and he just continues to drag his feet, then it's really unfair that he's keeping her in this relationship and like
that's
holding
the
out
thing.
this.
It's like this could continue on and
Yeah.
on. And
Yeah.
like it appears from just visual evidence and what, you know, the intel that Indra received is it could be going on right now.
It could still be happening. Yeah.
And I don't I am like, I question without like counseling or whatever that someone can just flip flop and be like, okay, now I'm ready.
Yeah.
You know, like it's hard for me. I mean, maybe, you know, people surprise me all the time, but just be like, okay, like now I'm ready. I'm ready. It's like, you don't want someone to be ready because the boat is leaving the harbor and you want to be on board, you know. You want to meet in the middle and have a conversation and be on the same page.
Yeah, I feel like his direct friends, because it's like he's friends with that whole group, but the group that's all getting married right now is still a couple years older than him, and I don't think that he feels that. And I think sometimes like guys almost see their friend do it and they're like, okay, well now I'll do it, and I think he doesn't have a best friend that's doing it.
Right.
Yeah,
so I think he doesn't have that push.
Well, because you always have, like, we saw it with Brian and him, and he has 500 friends like that you're lifting weights. It's like, bro, why do you want to settle down, bro?
Yeah. Look at this life, man.
Like, look at this life. We're going to go out to the clubs. We're going to
look at all these women in your DMs. Like,
and like the thing is
that's
like,
also a part of this, right? They're reality TV stars. Like, they're getting hit up in Miami like all the time.
I know. I always think about that because it is have to do with you're on a reality show, and it's not just what's going on. It's like, you're getting the DMs of boob shots, you know, or vag shots, or I don't know what they are, you know, but or dick shots even, you know, but like that is always like, you always have that, you know, us that you could go to right away. And just all you have to do is be like, text me, blah, 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 you know. And we see this in Potomac where you're not going to get away with it because Michael Darby, it's like the second you put your peen out is you're gonna get like
Someone's gonna take a photo of you
in your tidy whiteys, you know,
make a paper trail
with another woman.
Exactly. Or who was it? Yeah, keep going.
Sorry. Even when you think things aren't permanent, like Snapchat, there's still ways to make them permanent. Like I'll always think about. Do you guys know who Chris D'Elia is?
Yes, of course.
He's that comedian that got canceled recently.
He was on the what's her name show.
Whitney.
Yeah, he was
Whitney
on
Cummings.
Whitney. Yeah.
He has this video that's now circulates back is he's hearing about this guy, another guy, James Charles, getting caught on Snapchat talking to minors. And Chris D'Elia's face goes, wait, but it's Snapchat. So Snapchat disappears. How would anyone see the Snapchat? And they go, oh, you can secretly record your screen without alerting another person. And the wheels in his mind just start going like,
wait, is this all live?
It's on a podcast.
He got caught. Because he got caught.
And this came out a couple months before he got caught. And you can just see him being like,
what did he get caught doing? Like chatting with other women?
Chatting
and
with
meeting
16-year-olds.
Yeah, meeting up with them.
With young women. Or like, you know, he's, And you can just see him realize like nothing on the internet goes away ever.
If you put it out there, it's there. Like,
and that's why I'm just curious why if Rishi did this, and I'd love both of your opinions. If he did this, big IF, why aren't we seeing? Because usually, like, especially again, my news page 6, you usually hear like, okay, so with what's that guy who's covered like a billboard with tattoos, who is the lead singer?
Levine.
Okay, thank you.
The Chipotle bag man.
Okay. So with like Adam Levine, does nothing for me. Like I just want to say that he is a scrawny tatted guy that
used to do something for me.
He did. Does he do anything for you right now?
No. Okay. This was like songs about Jane and I was 13. But
now,
yeah.
Okay. So with him, all of us, like everyone came out right on social media of like the Sumner. What did he want to name?
Sumner Stroh.
Yes, and then it was like the yoga instructor that he touched her. It was like, okay, where are we going with all of this? And again, believe women, but like, why do you guys think women have not come forward if this happened with Rishi? And is it because because if Mac Miller told me don't say anything, Mac Miller would probably be able to charm me.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's because they're back together and they don't want to like stir the pot.
Or it's like, oh, I'm just with her for the TV show.
Yeah.
And I get all this money from the TV show and blah, blah. I think it depends.
Because we do live in this world, right? Where everything comes out.
Yeah. I also don't, I mean, I listen to you guys, I watch the show, I interact with them on social media. So to me, they appear much more famous. I'm not sure if they're like that famous outside of people who love the show to where.
Yeah, I don't think so.
People are going to expose them because it's like Adam Levine is so famous and his wife is super famous.
Yeah, no, that's different levels.
Cred. Yeah. And I think it might be embarrassing to be the other woman, especially if you didn't know. And like,
wow, yes.
Or like,
and also like Nirja clearly doesn't want things to continue like from what she's
done. Okay, let me film it.
Someone Mary talking about. Now we have the family silenced. Oh my gosh.
I got a video of it this time.
So terrifying. So anyway, okay, a couple more things to hit from this episode. So Anisha's fashion show.
Yeah.
And the planning of that and feeling like this is her last effort. So she's put $300,000 to $400,000 into this business.
I have a question. This is a little shady. Is that her money or her parents' money?
Well, I think it's not even shady. I think it's kind of known that it's her parents' money, right?
I wrote that down in my notes. I said, whose money is this?
And that was the source of the shade between Monica and Anisha on Watch What Happens Live at the end of last season. So that's kind of interesting too.
I didn't get why she pretended that she was asking everybody at the same time. Like, I would have just been like, oh, hey, Monica, like you just got here. I asked everyone to be in the fashion show. I want you to be in the fashion show too.
Yeah.
Because like, obviously Michelle goes immediately.
I know, it's so weird, but like, yeah, I mean, I'm glad that those two made up, honestly, because I was just like, I don't really want to see this drama anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't entertaining. It was sad. It wasn't like,
it was sad.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
And I have this theory that since Anisha's leaving the show, she's just kind of tying up loose ends and relationships.
That's exactly what I thought. Yeah.
To not come off as like, to just be like, okay, everything's done.
Well, we don't know that she's leaving the show. I'm not convinced that she is.
I feel like this was a real wrap up, and I feel like she's going to have this triumphant fashion show, and that's going to be it.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Let me see if her site
and
is
I
still
also
up.
wrote, why wouldn't you have another Family Karma cast member in your runway show? Because it's sure to sell more clothes than whatever Monica's wearing is going to sell more clothes than if you have a Miami model.
Mm-hmm.
So it's from a pure business standpoint. It's smart.
It's a really good idea.
Because like have everyone, because it'll be like, oh, I love Monica. Oh, she wore that. Okay, I'm going to buy it.
They're also so stunning. I look around this cast and I'm just like, I don't know if there's a better looking cast because I just feel like, Vishal and Richa's glow up this season. I just feel like I've never seen Richa look better. She looks unbelievable in all of her and
her outfits.
So good. Well,
and I was even looking.
She's so confident in everything she wears.
I love. She might be my favorite character. She's. So
I know.
Yeah.
And even like her. When Vishal and Amrit are FaceTiming, when I FaceTime, I look like a two-chinned troll. And Amrit looked like a fashion model.
Well, he had it set away.
Like
how clearly propped on something.
So wait, okay, is that what it was? I was like, how do we
because you could see his full shirt. So he clearly had the camera
further.
Oh my god.
And
oh my god. Are we not allowed to talk about
you're looking like the Exorcist?
I know. Why is this happening?
Oh my god.
So Anisha's website, her clothing website, looks like it's it's there, but there's nothing on it. It seems inactive. So
Is
That's
this a She
odd.
by Sheree kind of?
So I mean, I'm just thinking she puts $30K into just the fashion show alone.
That was
Crazy.
shocking.
I mean,
Couldn't you get a sponsorship or anything, Ciroc?
Well, she did work with Rhea Collective, who we have an interview with Rhea Collective from a couple years ago, and so it is a collab. So maybe they're both putting in money towards it or whatever. But I mean, it does seem like she did the last ditch effort, and it did not work out for the company.
Oh no.
I mean, we don't know that for sure, but that's just what it looks like. I mean, it doesn't look like you can buy anything on the site. So
Yeah, and I think like the no one was wearing dresses thing of COVID, people were still shopping online like crazy. So if you didn't hit during COVID, I don't know if it was going to hit. And that's nothing against, I think.
No.
I think everything's
businesses don't work out sometimes.
No, and she didn't
can
talk
I say
about enough on the
Bravo
show.
businesses?
She did not. You're right.
Bravo businesses tend to not like
Except for
Beverly
Craig's
Beach.
fucking pillows for some reason.
Oh wait, I thought his pillows
Craig
took
is
off. I
fucking
thought
killing it with those effing pillows.
I know, that's what I mean. I'm like, why?
Oh, I thought you were saying they didn't take off. Are they like
No, I'm saying that's like the one.
I mean, okay, the number one I think is probably Loverboy.
Loverboy, for sure.
What's Loverboy?
It's the drink company of Kyle and Carl from Summer House.
From Summer House.
Are we just talking Summer House rankings?
No, I mean all of
businesses.
all of
Skinny
Bravo.
Girl.
I mean, Skinny Girl is number one.
Oh,
Skinny
yeah.
Girl will always
Yeah.
be number one. Beverly Beach with Dorit and Piquet. It's like, okay. So what is that called? Loverboy?
Loverboy.
People buy it without even
pillows.
watching Summer House. Like they
Really?
don't even, yeah, because it's good. And it has to Amanda's credit, it has some of the best branding ever. So
Yeah.
Wait.
done
What
all
is the
the
branding?
marketing.
it's just gorgeous. Let me show you a
It
picture.
just looks
of
really
Loverboy.
nice.
Is it
and they
alcohol
have
or
all
not
sorts of,
alcohol?
They have all sorts of canned alcoholic drinks.
So
Indra,
canned-
next time we're together, can we have one? Have you had?
Yes, but I'm not drinking a hard seltzer because I am morally opposed to hard seltzer.
Okay.
I need you both to know that. I need everyone out
Why?
there to know that I am morally opposed to hard seltzer.
I want to say Mary gave me my first hard seltzer. Well, besides
did.
Zima in high school that I
Did you like it though? Like, what doesn't it
She
taste
brought
artificial to you?
you and Becca brought
Beautiful.
remember when what did you buy?
It was
You were
in
like, oh, you've
Vegas.
never had a White Claw. And I was like, I
In
don't know what
Vegas,
White
we
Claw.
got a bucket of White Claws because when you're just,
Oh.
it does hurt your teeth after a while. But when you're in the sun,
Wait,
it
what?
it feels
Your
too
teeth.
it feels too sugary after a minute.
That's a
like
hot
after
take.
too many.
I
You know, you have too much. Yeah.
I'm just I just want a beer. That's how I am. I would just rather have a beer. And it's the same alcohol content. I know it's more it's the low fat part of it,
for
right?
me,
And it's gluten-free.
Beer hurts my tummy.
Oh,
So that's why
Okay.
I can't do too
fair,
many.
fair.
But there are times where I'm like, oh, this tastes like absolute battery acid, and Ethan hates them. But he's too nice to say anything. So we'll go to a party and there'll only be like White Claw, and he'll just be like,
having fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so Loverboy's up there, Skinny Girl, and then what else? Is anyone from Summer House doing anything interesting?
There's podcasts. I mean, the Giggly Squad podcast.
Giggly Squad is a
pretty,
very popular podcast. Yeah.
And Paige is killing it with her Amazon brand whatever stuff that she does. She's she's one of the top influencers, I would say. On
Can
Bravo.
I ask, what is the
Mm.
price point of Craig's pillows?
I've never
I have
looked.
no.
Because
I
I
don't-
picture
I
it
don't
in
wanna
like the
know.
sale item at Marshall's.
100%. That's unless he does some collab with like Anthropology, like Joanna Gaines did. But
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
You see.
Okay.
Joanna Gaines. Okay, so Brian moving into that apartment.
Is he going to
20
move in?
That the apartment he saw was going for $3,100. So Mary, I want to know Miami prices.
That was Fort Lauderdale, remember?
that was Fort Lauderdale, not Miami.
I thought he said this is what you get in downtown. Let me look at my notes.
he called
I thought
he
it was-
called it Lottie. That's
Lottie.
what he said.
This is what
yeah.
you get in downtown Lottie versus Miami.
prefer
Because I
the
think
Because
Yeah.
real estate in Miami is like
it's more
rivaling New York
expensive.
City,
Yeah,
right?
it's really
Yeah.
expensive.
I mean, our apartment is so small. Like like really, I mean, it's pretty tiny. Like hearing Nicholas and Amrit call their previous apartment a shoebox was really a laughing matter for me.
Yeah.
But because I was like, I'm pretty sure you guys had multiple bathrooms, but okay.
Yeah.
We pay like 3.8. So
Wow.
So it's really
gosh.
it's really
Crazy.
expensive, and like we don't have a view. Like we only have windows that
Yeah.
face like we have an outdoor area.
Oh,
but
you do.
we got a
Well, which is gold in New York. I mean, yeah.
we got a COVID but our bedroom doesn't have windows.
A
Our
COVID
bathroom
deal
doesn't-
for 3,800 and wow.
our neighbors pay 5, so we know. Yeah, so we know we're gonna have to move. Yeah, so we can't.
Holy.
Yeah, we
Okay,
have this.
so-
We have this
Okay,
until.
so Brooklyn's unaffordable.
Oh yeah, even with 2 people,
Yeah.
like Ethan and I are both gainfully employed, and we're okay. The pillows are $65 each.
No.
That's highway. People, if you're buying a pillow from Craig, like reconsider. Buy something else.
Oh my God, they're sold out.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. If I have to say, if they said Austin is like Brad Pitt at BravoCon, I believe that Craig is probably Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, I bet.
I bet
Look
like
at
when
this
Craig
shit.
walks, what is on it?
Ugh,
Crabs.
No. So wait, okay.
So Brian's moving out. We see in the preview he doesn't know how to use a dishwasher.
I was like, this is
what are we doing?
the part of not moving out that people don't find attractive. Like I was like,
like
Brian,
you
it's
don't know
one
how
thing to live with
it.
your parents. I get
Yeah.
it, but to not do anything while you're living with your mommy and your daddy is the embarrassing part. Like,
that's
a lot.
That's the bad part.
Okay. The last thing is Vishal. So I didn't realize Vishal is Rich is signing the title on the house, but she's not on the mortgage.
So he's
like,
paying
why
for it.
wouldn't she sign the title?
Why wouldn't she?
Why wouldn't she? And she's like, I don't care. I got a house. And I don't have
That's
to pay
incredible.
for it.
I am worried that people are going to be critical of her but I think she's
support
doing the
this.
right thing. I 100% support her. I have a bone to pick with Amrit.
Okay.
Offering your friend who's trying to quit drinking drinks. Stop.
Wow, yes.
Because I like, and don't be shocked when he says no to a drink at the door. Like, invite him to the parties and stuff. Don't leave him out because he's not drinking, but stop offering him drinks and really support Vishal and Rich as they're like figuring out.
Yes, that's a very good point. And offer like, hey, I got this especially for you. It's like a whatever.
It's a mocktail, or like I didn't batch make my cocktails. You can add the booze later, whatever. Like, But
that's a very good point.
But I loved it when she showed up late to the closing and she only signed. I was like, hell yeah.
She walks in easy breezy in her like
I know
cute outfit, and she's like,
I know,
sign on the dotted line.
Here we go.
And he's like, next, you'll sign the marriage certificate. She's like, maybe.
I know. Good for her.
God.
Good for her.
I'm excited to see their place, though. I like want to see what it looks like, and like
they paid for it, or is that something they're keeping?
Hopefully, they'll show us. I've been watching $1 Million Listing LA with Patrick. I love those shows. I love them because they're so like out of control in terms of the real estate that you're looking at. And like, Miami, like you hear, is just like one of the hottest real estate markets in America right now.
And especially after the Mauricio article in LA, it was at the LA Times. It is like, I'll send it to you, Mary, because I'd love your point of view.
Yeah.
Basically, Mauricio, and that I didn't realize it was featured. Do you remember the party they had there?
In the Bahamas?
No. It was in LA. Do you remember when Mauricio had the party at this huge mansion? He's like, actually, it's up for sale right now.
Oh.
It was like a 1920s party, and it was freezing, and everyone was complaining how cold. So basically, Mauricio was representing this property.
Mm-hmm.
And he did some shady dealings, and it's this whole thing.
He's on the line for like $20 million or something, right? Like it's some crazy.
Yeah, he has a civil case against him for like 20 million because of it. Yeah, like he basically didn't go with the highest bidder, and instead he sold it to his friend and like business partner.
Yeah, because then you get both sides of the deal. So it's double dipping.
And it has to do with a corrupt government where whatever this property that was sold was going into people like, what's the right word, who were wrong through the government, like human rights.
Oh God.
Yeah, like Obama signed this thing into place. If you have like if you have a property in the United States and you're the leader of a country and there's human rights things going on, and you sell that property and you owe people money.
Oh, you need to pay. Oh,
that property just, and so that was going on because it was being, so it's like,
damn,
Riso's in a lot of fucking
that
trouble.
sounds really bad.
And I'm like, roll the cameras, Andy. Like roll the fucking camera.
Well, he has that show buying Beverly Hills or something on Netflix now.
Producer of that though. And so he'll never, if we get the Bravo cameras
he'll work
his
way around it. Yeah.
If we get the Bravo cameras, we'll see Kyle stressed out, which is sad. But like, we'll see like they won't have control of that narrative.
And it's like, we have to remember that so many people watching these shows are not like us, like on social media, like getting the tea behind the scenes. Like what they see on the screen is what they get and what they believe. Yeah. And like, so it is possible to like spin a story to just completely take that out, which is interesting. Okay, final thing. Brian is on Watch What Happens Live this Sunday, it looks like. Which is exciting that we're finally going to have like someone sitting in a seat in the clubhouse.
What would you think about him and Julia Fox?
He'd hit on her and she'd be like, no.
Do you think that would be like...
definitely... Okay, but he's going to be on with Ashley Darby and you know he's going to hit on her.
I would love to see
and bro, she's out of your league. And okay, so Andrew told me that she broke up with Summer House guy.
Oh, she broke up with Luke? I mean, good. He's insufferable.
She went to Minnesota and then deleted everything off of Instagram of them together.
What is up with him in Minnesota? Because he got into a huge fight with Craig and Austin in Minnesota. He and Hannah broke up after Minnesota, and he and
Sierra broke up after Minnesota too.
There, does he live there?
That's where
that's where he's from.
House there. He's the guy I was ranting about how he thinks he owns nature. Like he literally thinks he's like, I gotta go talk to my snow friends. I gotta go tap a maple tree. It's like, fuck you, Luke. I'm so a great skier. Like, leave it alone.
Snow friends. What's a snow friend?
He's like, I just want to go play outside with my snow friends. It's like,
he's so over the top. He's so in love with himself. Like, I actually was like, I sort of stan Ashley and Luke, but I'm also like, Luke is a tool. Like, so, but I was like, oh, Brian and Ashley, totally not thinking about the fact that she has 2 kids. And Brian is not ready for that shit.
Imagine him with bottles. He'd be like, what?
God.
I mean, his own beer bottles are all over that apartment according to
condoms.
The condom.
That was in his parents' house. That was in his parents' house.
Could you imagine?
No. And I feel like I'm very free and I would just be mortified.
You could not get turned on in a parent's house. That is
Brian can.
Brian can.
Well, okay. So we have been recording and it's an extra long.
This is an extra long episode, but we got into a lot of stuff. Actually, I was like, oh, this episode is kind of whatever, but there was actually a lot that kind of they got into.
It's a lot of setup for the following, because the preview looks really good too. And I can't wait to see Nicholas and Amrit's wedding. And I just my heart aches for Nicholas and because when Amrit said, I'm just reminded at every point that our wedding is different. But then his parents being like, you're our son. That's how love works. I was like,
when Nicholas in his apron is like, I need a minute. And he's crying. He starts crying. I was like, I started crying too. Like, there's just no way that I can't.
No, they're so sweet. I mean, they're the parents that everybody deserves to have.
Like, I know.
Yeah. Because they just they just love you. Like they just don't, they say fuck it to like cultural norm and they just love you and that they're the best. And they're not young, like they're not super young. So for them to come around in this time and be so accepting of him is just so beautiful and aspirational. And everyone should take a freaking note out of their book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a good kind of reminder because, like, you can see that they're also like conservative, you know, in certain ways too. But it's like people are not just one thing, you know, like people are complex. They can have different ideas. They can have different ideas for themselves and what they have for their kids. And like they're all and like life is always going to throw you like curveballs and you're going to need to handle them. And like things are never just one way. And people handle them in different ways. Like you can't always say how someone will be
about anything.
And I think like I would just like to propose, I mean, I'm seeing these ads for masterclass, like just like Steven Spielberg, you know, teaches you about directing, and RuPaul teaches you about living out loud. Why don't we get like a master class of them in parenting?
Oh my God. Right?
That's
Sign
amazing.
us up, masterclass.com or whatever your website is.
Ones, but I want
but I don't want to hear from Gwyneth Paltrow in like her expensive
uncoupling
sauna.
with Gwyneth Paltrow.
No, I want this.
No one wants to hear from her. No one wants to hear from her.
This is a Amrit's Parents Stand podcast.
Yes,
it is. Get them on masterclass.
Like I saw that preview on, I think your Instagram, and then I saw it again at the end of the episode, and then I rewatched the episode, and I cried all 3 times. I'm just like, this is so nice and like just so beautiful. Genuine. And just thinking about Nicholas, who feels so alone, and like it's a step that his parents are coming, but like they don't want to participate at all. If Amrit's dad walks Nicholas down the aisle, I swear to God, I will heave sob. I will not be able to handle it.
Oh my God.
Like if they do something like that for him, I won't be able to handle it.
You know what I love about this too is like flipping the narrative that happens in a lot of conservative white America about, oh, that other culture, they're so conservative, they're so backward, they're so whatever. It's like here we are seeing a complete role reversal of that. Like Nicholas's parents are good Christians, you know, quote unquote, and they are like unable to really be there for Nicholas in the way that I think he needs them to be. And Amrit's parents are stepping up to the plate from a completely different country and culture and set of beliefs and everything.
Yeah.
And it's just like nice to see like Indian culture being shown in that light on this show. Because you don't see that a lot like in American media. And it's just a great example of it.
It's so awesome because I didn't watch it, but listening to you guys talk about like Indian Matchmaker and how it kind of played into those like stereotypical, this is what the Indian family is like, and this is what the relationships have to be like. I think this show is such an awesome perspective of family and how the dynamic is not stifling, but liberating in this situation. And I just love it. I think like I didn't watch it for a bit, and I would just listen to your podcast, but anyone who just listens and doesn't watch, like definitely watch. It's so it's just so new. Like there's so many relationships between them, and the web is just awesome. And I don't know, I love it. I just think
we've never seen anything like this on American television.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's not like, so I admit, like I've said this before, I listened to the Bachelor podcast and I haven't watched the show.
That's not worth watching. I'm telling you.
That's not. It's
not
just
like
this. Because like, you know, it's like everyone's wearing, is it Reformation outfits? Where do they get their outfits from?
It's
Revolve, whatever. And everyone looks same injector.
Yeah.
Same injectors with everyone.
Yes.
And so
I'm not going to watch this year.
Okay.
I mean it.
Mary, no.
I know.
Why?
I know. I would only watch to talk to you about it, Indra. I just can't with this decision to have Zach be the Bachelor. And
I support you.
I read a spoiler because when I don't care about the season, I get spoiled. And he picks a Trump supporter. And so I'm just like, I'm not participating. I'm not going to say who it is. I don't know if it'll be obvious throughout the season, but
okay, now I'm going to be guessing the whole time.
I'm not into it. I can't.
Yeah, though.
When they pick a cool girl, hopefully from another season, to be the Bachelorette, or give Gabby another chance, or whatever they're gonna do.
Yeah, put Gabby back. Let's just have Gabby like forever.
Yeah, I love her so much.
That's fair. This is big news, though. I
Cave and watch it if I get FOMO on premiere night or whatever. But as of right now, I'm like, they can't even make the promos look interesting.
No,
Like, they
it's
can't
gonna be
even-
a boring season.
Did you
It'll
all
be
see
boring.
Hannah's on that new reality television show where
With
Oh,
Jamie
I
Lynn
keep hearing
Spears.
with
stuff
Jamie
about
Lynn
that.
Spears and Dr. Drew and
Yes, so
Mel
weird.
B from the
From the
Spice Girls. And they do Navy
Oh.
SEALs training. I'm like,
I mean,
I'm-
Mel B
I'm
was on
kind
The
of-
Circle, so she's branching out.
I just read her memoir.
Oh, did you? Was it good?
It was, I had because it was like, I guess everything that was going on in her life was like huge in the UK. Like, cause she had, that guy that she was always seeing in pap pictures with, her husband, he was so abusive.
Wait, is Mel B Sporty Spice?
She's scary.
Scary.
Scary
Mel C
Spice.
also released a biography a couple months ago, and I'm on the waiting list for our.
Yeah, because there were two Mels. Okay. I was
Mel
like,
B,
which
Mel
one is
C.
which? Yeah.
It was really interesting because I didn't realize that what an abuse, like she had substance abuse. She was physically and mentally abused by this guy who
Yeah.
just took
Wow.
over this career, and it took everything to get away from him. And I didn't realize she had an extensive relationship and a child with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
And
What?
Eddie Murphy's life, I sat in bed with Andrew and I was like, I need to talk to someone about this. Because talk
Oh.
about a compound. Eddie Murphy has a
Wow.
compound. No one comes in, no one comes out.
Oh my God.
He's
Yeah.
never seen anywhere.
No, he just sits it. He has his group of friends that live in the compound.
Wow.
That scares me.
And she was like, let's go out for coffee. And he's like, no, we can have someone make us coffee. And she's like, no, let's go out. And she had to force him out.
Oh my God.
And he has actually, I heard on How Did This Get Made, I think, that he has a body double who looks exactly like them that does the red carpets in Asia and
Yep.
stuff.
Wow.
Was that How Did This Get Made?
I
Miriam?
think it was How Did This Get Made? Because they were talking about how I think they did one of his movies and they were so bad, and it was so bad
Yeah.
they were joking if it was the body double instead of Eddie Murphy.
Isn't
in
that
the physical
wild?
movie.
So because he doesn't go over, like he doesn't do the red carpet overseas, or even
No, he's like really
Yeah.
shy, but he got so famous, so he can't handle being outside and being approached by people.
yeah. So he
like-
just lives there.
Which, like, maybe I sort of get, like, after all this Meghan and Harry documentary shit and everything, I'm just like, by the way, Meghan and Harry documentary.
I
Like,
watched it.
I'm here for all of their content, all of it.
I-
It's so ridiculous, and I love it all.
To hear
The
you
Tyler-
guys.
The Tyler Perry of it all is enough for
The
a whole
Tyler
podcast.
Perry!
What? How does
He-
Tyler Perry get
He
involved?
like saved them.
Yeah.
Like,
He reached
yeah.
out to them. He goes to Megan, is there anything I can do? Like, I appreciate what you're doing for the culture. Like, this is huge. And she goes, jokingly, we need a place to live because we're getting kicked. We have to leave any of the properties that are related to the royal family. They lived in his house for literally 6 months.
Yeah,
And he's now their daughter's godfather.
yeah. He's like one of their inner circle. Like, and it's like what hearing that part of the story was like, what?
Yeah,
That's
what's
what
going on?
happened. Like, I just thought they like went to California and whatever, but it was like, no, Tyler Perry like took them in.
Yeah. I watched it with
Um,
my parents, and my dad was like, I've always been such a fan of Tyler Perry. I was like, new part of your personality unlocked. Where did this come from? Like,
That's incredible.
Pop culture
goes, he-
brings us together.
Yeah.
It does. He goes, he doesn't just do the Medea stuff. He has some really good shows out there. I was like, what?
There you go. There you go. Hot take from
Hot
Uncle
take from my
Frankie.
dad.
Okay, my baby is waking up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love how he slept through all of this, but
I know. Thank you.
Yes, thank
Thank
you,
you, little
Cousin
Lex.
Mary. Thank you.
I
little
thank you,
Lex.
Cousin Mary. This was
Thank
so
you guys
fun.
for having me. I had a good
And,
time. I hope I didn't rant too much.
No, it's actually your perspectives are so spot on, and I
And
hope our
fresh.
listeners enjoyed them too. Thank you all for joining us here on Family Karma Cast, and should we do our sign off?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Namaste, bitches.
Bye, Mary.
Hasta
Bye,
la
guys.